Hey everybody, it's Dan from Dan Scale Model Creations, and I just have another quick tip for all you young builders out there or anybody who's just getting into the hobby. These paints are readily available. You can pick them up at pretty much any hobby store. Sometimes it's a little harder to find the Tamiya stuff or anything along those lines. And these are good quality paints. So don't be afraid to use them. And when you see everybody out there using the Tamiya and the stuff like the Vallejo, however you pronounce that, easy for you to say. You don't have to use that stuff, but I will give you one quick pointer. So if you're going to use these, I always reduce mine. So I'll always mix it 50-50 with paint thinner. So I have paint thinner here in this little dropper. It's an eyedropper that I picked up somewhere. I keep all my bottles, or anybody else's bottles for that matter, because you never know when you're going to need to use some kind of a dropper. And this is great because it's an eyedropper, so it's very easy to control. One drop, two drops, three drops, whatever. So all I'll do is I will take my paint, I will dip a toothpick into it, and I will hold it over and let it run, and it'll count 1, 2, 3. So for this here, I have 10 drops of paint, I have 10 drops of thinner. I mix that up. The nice thing about doing this is anybody who's painted engines, so you can see here's the engine for the T-Bird that I'm working on, and it's got a gold transmission and the factory red engine or orange engine. And the gold was done by brush, the red was done with an airbrush. But if you do this and you mix it, it just goes on so much smoother. So I just have this sprue here, and you can see that just by brushing it, it self levels itself, and it allows you to show so much more detail. And the nice thing about doing this here is the fact that it will dry and it'll show you so much more of your detail. Anybody who's painted engines, see, come on, baby. So you can see the detail, you can see the roughness of the transmission and everything else under that paint. And that's because it's thinned out so much. If you just use it out of the bottle, and I'm sure many of you have in the past, you'll paint your engines, and when you paint your engine, you lose the detail. It takes, days to dry, or you're putting fingerprints all over it whenever you're touching it. Do it this way. I think you'll be much happier with the results that you end up with when you're brush painting. Just be very careful. You can see here that the eyedropper that I use, I actually have danger written on it and what's in here, because my daughter likes to create stuff, and I never know if she's going to come in here and just start fiddling around with my with what I have. So if you decant or take something out of the bottle, so if you look up there, there's my paint thinner, and I took it out of the bottle to put in the eyedropper. And if you do that, make sure you mark on it that it is dangerous and it's not eye drop. For God's sakes, don't ever leave the original label on it if you're going to do that. Just for safety's sakes. Even if you think nobody's going to come in, you never know. That's it for this video. Just a quick down and dirty tip on how to use the Testors paint and use it well. You can also airbrush these, and this is another good way to do it. Usually if I airbrush them, I will reduce the paint by 1/3. So I'll put in, if I use 10 drops of paint, I'll put in 3.5 or 4 drops of thinner, and that way there it's reduced a little bit less than half. And I just find that it works really well through an airbrush as well. That's it, guys. Keep building, have fun. We'll see you on the next one.